Hey everybody, welcome back to the channel. Today I'm going to talk about three things I like and three things I don't like about the Seestar S50 right here on Under the Radar. Okay, I've had the Seestar S50 for about 5 months. I got it back in May of 2024, so I've had several months to get used to it, try to learn the ins and outs of it. And I got to say something right up front that I had to really stretch to find things I didn't like about it because there's just an awful lot to like about it. You know, the price point's great. It's easy to use. It really makes it easy to get great pictures of deep space objects. So I don't have a lot to say negative about it. I had to stretch, so don't be too critical on me when I point out what I didn't like about it. But let's kick it off. I'm going to cover those things and then we will continue on and I'll talk about the things I like at the end. Okay, the first thing I'm going to say is going to sound kind of strange. But one thing that if I'm stretched to say what I don't like about it, and it's going to sound really odd to say this, but it makes astrophotography too easy. And what do I mean by that? It's just awful easy to do it. I've been in astronomy and astrophotography since 1982, and the pictures you can take with this thing that really a kindergartner could take with this thing it's just amazing. And that sounds great, and it is. But the flip side of that is that to me, it's, when you show a picture of something you've taken in the heavens, say the Andromeda galaxy or whatever, and it's a really great picture, there's a sense of pride and accomplishment when I do that. Back in the old days when you'd have to go to a lot of work to do that, get a lot of exposure time on it and in a manual way and tracking stars and the processing of the photos and all that back in the day, that was really hard to do. And, it's through that, I'll call it that struggle or that challenge or that work to get that great picture comes a sense of pride from that because you worked for it. You know, there's an accomplishment. It's like you've got to work out a lot to win a marathon, or you got to practice a lot, with a bait caster to get good at using a bait caster to catch fish. With the Seestar, you just two or three steps, press a few buttons, and you can take great pictures. So I do feel like there's a little bit of a loss, and I'll call it pride in workmanship when it comes to the great pictures you can take. I know that sounds silly, but inherently, I don't, we all post our pictures and want to share them, but it's so easy to do. Now you could say, yeah, you're being nitpicky, and you're probably right. And maybe it's just, I think about all the time and effort in the old days of taking pictures, and it's so easy now. Um, but that I had to come up with something, so that's one of them I came up with. But I'm going to touch on that one later on in a whole nother way in just a little bit here. Okay, a second thing I don't like about it, and I'm nitpicking here, I know, but it's the dew cap. If you're like me and you live in a very humid area of the country, you get one of those dew caps that somebody made off a 3D printer and they sell them on Amazon. And those are great that somebody thought of that idea and how you have to install it on the Seestar. And I'll show that in a picture here, hopefully. That, if it's a certain time of the year and you want to come back in the house and let the Seestar do its thing, and you want to shut down the Seestar, well, you got to make sure you take that dew cap off. Now, I haven't had it happen, but I wonder what happens if you do forget the dew cap and you close that arm. You close the lens arm back into the start position and you turn it off. That I don't like. And again, I'm nitpicking here. It's not a big deal, but that it's more of a worry than a dislike. It's like if I forget that thing on there, what am I going to damage? What's going to happen here? So I got to always have to remember that. Like if you're like me, I'll I will go out and just let it start taking picture after picture, 10-second exposure after 10-second exposure all night long. But I got to remember, I don't know if I got the dew cap on, I got to remember I have to get out there and take that off. Otherwise, I could have problems. So that's, I don't know what design change they could make to do that or make that easier. I mean, it is what it is, I think. And again, I had to come up with something on a dislike, so that's a second one. So now the last one, the last dislike is that it doesn't remember your settings. So what I mean by that, it doesn't really remember your last settings for that compass. So every time you start it up, you got to recalibrate. Like with some, other telescopes, I'm more familiar with like Celestrons, but if you have it in the same spot or you tell it to remember your last settings, that shouldn't be an issue, I don't think. And with the Seestar, you've got to recalibrate. At least on the compass side, you have to do that. I could put it back in the same spot in my yard every time I use it, and if I turn it off, I'm going to have to recalibrate that compass. That may be user error, somebody might tell me, and if so, correct me on how to avoid that. But, again, it's not a big deal. You turn the thing around 8 times and the compass is back calibrated, but kind of a little pain. Not enough to really, discount it too much. But again, I'm struggling for three things I don't like about it. So if I had to list something that would be number three. Okay, now on the like side, the first thing, and this is ironic because it was also the first thing I mentioned on the dislike side. So the thing I don't like about it, that it's easy to use and take great pictures of the sky of deep space objects. I didn't like how easy it is. I just told you earlier. I also love it, and what I mean by that is, gosh, it's awful nice sometimes to go out and just turn something on really easily. Not a lot of setup, no polar alignment to worry about. I also have a Star Adventurer, and you got to go out and you got to go through that whole NCP thing and get Polaris lined up on the clock internally with it and get it polar aligned to the north and make sure the angle you've got set on the equatorial mount's correct for your latitude and all that. You got to do the alt as on it, get it all, make sure Polaris is where it's supposed to be on that NCP clock or relative to NCP, and then you got to balance your telescope, with the counterweights and all that stuff. That's a lot of work, and you get into all sorts of other things when you've got like that Star Adventure or some other telescope. With the Seestar, I just go out, spin around 8 times like a fool, and get get the thing to calibrate the compass, and then get it calibrated for level, and I'm pretty much done with it at that point. So I love that piece of it. That's just great. And plus, it requires really little to no effort to get it up and going. So if I want to loan it to my daughter, college age daughter, to use for her and her friends, it's easy. I've showed her once how to do it. She could take it. It's easy to connect to, and they're off and running. So I love that. That's a great part of it as a first like I can think of. So I will say that a second thing that I like about the Sea Star is that it really helped rekindle an interest in astrophotography for me in a whole other way. For me, I'm colorblind, so I'm not great at editing photos and pulling out all the details of galaxies or nebula because I just don't have the vision for it. So despite that, with the pictures you can get with the Sea Star, you just look at it. And then I look at the pictures people post on different sites of what they've done with the Sea Star photos once they get in and edit them. Wow, it really rekindles that interest for me to get back into that, and also to think about other equipment to get out and take other pictures. So I look at it's just amazing, to some of the stuff you see, and now it's got me thinking about getting a different telescope uh, to do different things relative to planetary, especially something with like an F10 or something like that, and then get the Barlow in there and be able to get some great pictures of Jupiter and Saturn or Mars with a different telescope. So it really has rekindled my interest in I'll call it astrophotography, just deep space and planetary. And it's got me thinking about solar too in a way I never have ever been interested. So I would never have that interest resparked if it wasn't for the Seestar S50. So that's a second like. So the last like that I have, and I recognized this early on the moment I got this thing, is it's really perfect for getting kids excited about science. I think a lot about. I used to work in workforce development, and one of the big topics that we were focused on was how to stimulate careers in STEM areas. So science, technology, engineering, mathematics, that kind of stuff. So, my gosh, at an early age, if I had the money, I'd go get the schools in the area I live. I'd get them a Seastar just to have in their science classes, right? It's a fantastic, easy way to get kids excited about science. And think about that. It's just a really cool, cheap way to get them really excited about it. It gives them really easy hands-on experience. And, there's nothing like seeing somebody the first time they see the moon up close, or even the sun with a filter on it, or something deep space, especially like Andromeda or the Orion Nebula, Horsehead Nebula, that kind of stuff. The first time they see it, and it's just a fantastic, inexpensive way. You want to be a cool grandparent or a cool parent, get especially a grandparent, because I'm at that age. I'm getting to the age to retire. You want to be a cool grandparent? Get one of these things. Doesn't take much to get good with it, and then show it to your grandkids and let them use it. It's just a fantastic way to get kids excited about science. So overall, I really don't have much bad to say about the Seastar S50. Uh, it's easy to use, as I said, both as a positive and a negative. But overall, it's just an outstanding device, and it's so inexpensive to go out and get one and to start using it, and really to go outside anytime you want, as easy as you can, have it set up in minutes, and take great pictures of the skies. I can't recommend it highly enough. Now I know there's other smart telescopes out there. I don't really have any of them. I've almost bought a few of them, but this thing's so inexpensive. I don't know how you can beat it for the price point. So I hope you enjoyed it. Hope you don't beat me up too much in the comments about the dislikes, but I had to come up with something. So hey, that's what I came up with. But get you one. I mean, they are so good. They're so great. They're so easy to use. I'm not paid by them or anything, but I just love it because of the price. Thanks. Have a great day.